Hey everyone, welcome back to another New World video. I hope that everybody is having an absolutely fantastic day, but let's go ahead and dive into today's video, and that is actually coming with a brand new build, which is going to be the Rapier and the Spear build. Now this build, I really have not seen very many people using this specific one. I'm not really sure why. I just was kind of looking at the different weapons in the attribute tree and kind of saying what combinations I can put together that are a little bit more unique. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the only one out there by any means. I know that there are people that are out there that do play this like specific play style, but it's not very common. I just don't really see it. Now, this is a lot different than my typical life staff builds, just because I've been pretty much being a life staff user since the very beginning of the game, or at least the release here of New World back in September. And the playstyle is a lot different for me, so I am still trying to get used to everything and how it's working. So it's actually been kind of interesting over the last day to try to increase my weapons, to get used to them, get used to the different weapon masteries, and obviously redistribute the attribute points. I will let you guys know, even though I am a level 60, this build is far from perfect. And there's a lot of changes that I do want to make to both my gear, to my attribute points, and honestly, to even my weapon mastery as we progress. Now, these weapons are not level 20 yet, so I do have to let you guys know about that. There are some changes that I do want to be able to make, but I'm going to go ahead and identify where I want to put the remaining weaponry mastery points that I'm going to be able to obtain up to that level 20 mark in both of the weapons, and then let you guys know what kind of opportunities you guys have with these specific weapons. And even compared to my life staff and some of the other weapons that I was using before, these gear score weapons are significantly lower. So I definitely have a lot of room for improvement for the amount of damage that I am able to do with this specific build. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the first thing. Now let's go ahead and take a look at my gear so you guys can actually see what we're currently running here. So this gear is definitely not perfect, like I was mentioning a little bit ago, but you guys can take a look at what we're actually looking at. I do want to change everything to full dexterity, and then I do want to have 100 points in my constitution. Eventually I might have to distribute some extra points either in con or in strength, and we're going to go over some of that when we take a look at the attributes. But you can see that I am running light armor, so I am a little bit squishy, but I like the dodge roll that I'm able to actually go ahead and do, which is actually quite nice. So there are some things that are definitely holding me back, specifically my jewelry. I was lucky enough to find this piece at one point in time. It's a 570. Unfortunately, it is full strength, and I would like to actually have dexterity if I possibly can. I do like the health. I do like the fortified, just because of other things that I can do here with it. But it's not the piece that I'm actually looking for with this build. And then obviously the bottom two really are nothing to do with this build at all. Now, I do like this piece just because I do get the keen awareness at 9.5. I would like to actually have vicious, keen awareness, and enchanted are the ones that I'm kind of looking for this specific build. I don't even think I have anything that actually has enchanted on it, to be honest. So I can't even show you really what that even would do, but it actually increases your light and heavy attacks, which is quite nice. And then keen awareness and vicious is a chance for higher probability at hits, crit hits, and then the vicious is higher crit hit damage overall. So pretty nice. So all right, now that you guys can kind of see what I'm going here and what I would actually like to be able to change, I think I would actually like to stay within that light armor category if I possibly can. However, if it comes to void bent armor, first of all, you can't even get the light armor. There's a couple things in the game that doesn't even exist, so nobody can actually craft that yet. And unfortunately, the light void bent armor is strength based. So having 5 pieces at 25 a piece or 30 a piece, or I can't remember exactly what it is, that really doesn't help my specific build at all. So I don't think that I would go with a void bent armor with this specific class. Now, I could possibly go after the medium, but I really want to try to keep as light as possible, so I might have to throw maybe a couple lighter pieces in there just to make sure that I maintain that light aspect. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the attributes so you guys can kind of see where they're currently at. Again, my armor and my stuff that I'm currently wearing. my gear overall, including my rapier and my spear, are just not where I want them to be. So these points definitely want to be changed around. I want to get rid of intelligence completely, and I want to drop that 32 points and allocate it into my dexterity. Same with my strength. Now strength, I don't mind it keeping at 50, just that I can get that additional 10% to light attacks on my melee weapon, which would be obviously for my spear. But my primary weapon is my rapier, and you can change it around if you guys decide to actually do that. So maybe it might be worth it if you're going to use your spear as your primary weapon. But the reason that I had chose these two weapons is they are both in the dexterity category. When I was looking at what combinations I could actually go with that would actually really make sense, I figured that this one might be really, really good. Now, I do want to put all these points, these remaining points, into dexterity, and then whatever is pretty much left, I'm okay with getting up to 150 con if I really need to. That'll actually help me take, 10% less damage to crit, which is going to help out a lot in a lot of situations. I am a little bit squishy. Obviously, I can't heal myself like I was when I was a healer, so I definitely have to rely on either food, potions, or a healer as things get a little bit dicey in some of a certain gameplay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon mastery. Now, this is definitely not finished. I was able to get to level 12 and 14 within a day, just from actually just doing normal day-to-day things with this. Now, this will definitely improve, and my damage will get significantly higher as time progresses, and I'm able to actually get these up to level 20. But let's go and take a look at the spear first. This is the secondary weapon. I chose that I wanted to go after the javelin, the sweep, and also the vault kick. The other one that I might change instead of vault kick might actually go into this one right here. I haven't played around with this one quite yet, so I can't say for sure if this is the one that I want. I like the way that this actually is, but it doesn't do a ton of damage. It only does 75% weapon damage, but it does apply stun for that 1.5 seconds. You get empower if you hit a target. They have successful hits on a target that is below 50% health, and increase the damage by 20% for 5 seconds, which is actually pretty nice. And then this bottom one would be the continuous motion. So cooldowns of the spirit animations are reduced by 30% on all successful hits. So that means that all these cooldowns and all these abilities would be able to actually replenish relatively quickly, where this category, this tree right here, doesn't really offer that cooldown that I was kind of looking for. That's the reason that I chose that vault kick. We went here with the refreshing jabs, which all spear cooldowns are reduced by 10% on the second hit of a light chain attack. And then we have cripping jabs. The last hit on the light attack chains applies 30% slow for 3 seconds on targets that are below 30% health. Obviously, you have to get them below 30% health before this can obviously apply at all. We have the sweep, which does 75% damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that full 100% damage that we would love to actually go ahead and have. And then we've got the tenuous sweep, and then which applies grit. And then we have this last one, which will basic attack during the sweep will follow up with a powerful downward stab, which you saw during hopefully the opening portion of the video, and that deals 125% weapon damage to that specific target or that area. The last one is the javelin, which I really haven't been able to max out, but I plan on maxing out this one completely. So we got 125% of damage. They're knocked down as well. Headshots are reduced the cooldown by 50%. So if you can get really good at headshots. Deadly distance, the further that it travels, the longer or the more damage that it actually can do. And then 100% damage plus 100% damage is the absolute max, which can do a lot. And then eventually I'm going to go after the reserve strength, which is 25% damage while your stamina is full. I do plan on going after the evasive maneuvers. Dodging backwards consumes 20% less damage for 2 seconds after any successful hits. Merciless strength, 25% damage against knockdown targets. So again, if we knock them down, we can hit them, get that 25% boost is what I was looking for. Defensive stance, we gain fortify after successful heavy attacks, increasing damage weapon absorption by 15% for 2 seconds. That's where that fortify comes in that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Now on this side of the tree, we're going to be going over here with refreshing reach. So successful heavy attacks reduce all spear cooldowns by 15%. So if you need to cool down any of your things, you can just do heavy attacks and then get them successful and recool your cooldowns by 15%. And then when the last one is restore 20 stamina on each crit hit. So this is why that full one over here, which would be, can't remember which one it was. One of them had it's at 100%. I can't remember where it's at now. So yeah, there it is, 25% while your stamina is full, and that's why we're wanting to be able to have this combination on here, because that's going to help us try to keep our stamina as full as possible, even though we are going to be dodging a lot. All right, so moving on to the rapier, which is going to be the primary weapon, at least in my case it is. And these are the three main categories that I chose. So I chose the flourish and finish, the flurry, and then I also have the fletche. So I like this one. It does 125% damage. Up to basically a level 30, I can almost one-shot just regular enemies that don't have any type of additional like armor or whatever on them, which is pretty nice with this combination just right here. So the next one is killing an enemy with this ability reduces its cooldown by 80%. So what I try to do is get them as low as possible, do a quick lunge, and then I can get that cooldown, and basically it resets it within 2 seconds instead of like a 15-second delay, which is absolutely nice. We got backside. After performing the fetche during your next critical strike, attacks have damage to increase by 15%. That will last for 5 seconds. And then we have interruption. So by pressing the light attack anytime during the fletche animation, you'll stop and perform a static continuation attack that will deal 115% damage on that specific target. I'm still trying to get used to that one specifically, just because I'm not used to interrupting that flow. It looks really cool. I like the way that the fletche looks anyway, but trying to get that timeout, I mean, getting that additional 150% damage is absolutely amazing if we can keep it on there. All right, so moving on to the rest of them, obviously we're going to max out all of this. So we have the flurry. We're also going to go with the overwhelm. So flurry does 25% more block damage. And then we're going to, each hit of the flurry reduces the cooldown ability by 7%. And it's 4 quick ones or 5 quick ones. So if you can get all of those, that will decrease the cooldown by 35%, which is absolutely outstanding. Back to the bone. We've got each hit to the flurry extends the rapier's bleed by 1 second. This will apply the bleed to future stacked applications of the same bleed, extending the entire stack, which is quite nice. And then we have the finalize. The last hit of the flurry causes the enemy to stagger, which is great. And then obviously we're going to go after the flourish and finish, which we kind of talked about a little bit. So we're going to add grit to both the flourish and finish. Stagger or swagger, we got plus 20 stamina when successfully hitting a target with finish. This is why we're trying to keep our stamina as high as we possibly can all the time, so we can dodge, we can do more damage, we can get more stamina back, we can apply more damage, because we're going to be keeping our stamina as full as possible. Now each tick of damage with the Tonto's bleed reduces the cooldown by the ability by 3.5%. And then the very bottom here is going to be the bloody end. Finish deals 150% of the rapier's bleed damage instead of only 110%, which is outstanding. Then we've got this one here, which will deal 10% of damage when your target has greater than 50% health. Then obviously we're going to get down to 50%, and then we're going to have that done. And then every hit that we get will reduce all cooldowns by 1% on any hit, regardless of what it is. So that's absolutely amazing. So there's no max, there's no, you get stacks, this 1% all the time, all the time, all the time. My cooldowns on the rapier are incredibly fast, just because I'm consistently hitting my targets with the rapier, which is absolutely nice. Now basically from here, what I would actually like to be able to do is kind of change things up a little bit. So we've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we got 2 more points that we're actually going to be able to allocate somewhere else. And then the last 2 that I was kind of taking a look at using them on is the deal 5% more damage with targets with the rapier's bleed. Was the one that I was actually really looking at. and then increasing the damage by both the middle swipe attacks and a light chain attack by 8%. All these are actually pretty good. This one is the one I'm probably going to do because I do actually a lot of light attacks. I don't usually use the heavy attack with the rapier. I don't think that this is one that I'm going to ever have the desperation, just because dealing 10% more damage when the stamina is below 40%. Our goal is to never be below 40% because we're going to do more damage when our stamina is as high as it possibly can. Obviously, we want to be able to do that, and as long as you can maintain your health at being full or have a really good healer, you can deal 10% more damage completely, or you can apply haste for 3 seconds. Now, of all of these, honestly, what I was kind of thinking about doing, just because I'm not planning on using heavy attack all that often with it, it's going to be mostly these moves and then light attacks, because I can do a lot faster hits to get reduce my cooldowns by that 1%, is the light edge. So the middle swipe attacks will be increased by 8% my damage, and then increasing my bleed by the rapier by 5%. I think those are the two that I was kind of leaning towards, but you guys can definitely let me know what you guys would think and let do in the comments down below. But hopefully this build does help you guys out. I definitely recommend that you at least give it a try. It is a lot of fun. I definitely have enjoyed it over the last day. I'm going to continue using it till at least I get to level 20 and kind of build the build around what I would really like to be able to do, and then I'll kind of make an update video for the process and the progress that I've done with it. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're already doing it, and you guys stay gaming.